Welcome to the latest episode of The Fighter on Air Sport. I'm Kevin Byrne, and with me tonight is the man hoping to become Ireland's next world champion, Jono King Kong Carroll. Welcome to The Fighter, Jono. On Patrick's weekend, you're fighting for the world title over in Philadelphia. Stuff of dreams for an Irish fighter. Name up in lights, Jono Carroll, but your name isn't Jono Carroll at all, is it? It's Jonathan Beresford.
Now I can't disappear off the face of the earth when my boxing career is over.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's Jonathan Beresford, funny enough, because my mum and dad weren't married, so my dad brought me to the boxing gym. And I always went by Jono, so it was always just, he just said Jono, and Carroll is my father's second name, so he just threw the Carroll in there when I was signing up. But funny enough, it's actually caused me a lot of stuff, because the high performance, they used to book me flights under Jonathan Carroll. It's caused me a lot of difficulty a few times, you know. So, but it's good because once my boxing career is over, I can just sit back into that name and just forget about the whole career. And you know, boxing for me is just a means to an end. So
it's a performance. You've said before. You're not the same guy. The guy that we see in the boxing ring isn't the guy that you are outside of the ring. No,
not at all, really. I'm two different people. When I'm in the boxing ring, I'm there to provide for my family, and I'm there to do a number on somebody, you know. So I get into a completely different mind frame. I just go into this, I don't know, it's just like tunnel vision, you know. Just do what I have to do to survive while I'm in there. But once I'm out of the ring, it's like I'm back to family life, back to my missus and my baby, and it's like, I try to forget about boxing. I'm not even a massive boxing supporter, even though I really like the big fights and stuff like that, but I wouldn't be one to watch every single boxing match on the weekends, and you know, I'm not like that at all. It's like boxing, it takes up so much of my time that I try almost forget about it when I leave the gym.
So you're from Finglas. You moved to Dunshaughlin at an early age. What was it like moving as a kid out to Meath?
It was weird. There were so many different things I kind of had to get used to, you know. Even the languages. I remember having an argument with this kid in school because I used to say windy, even though it was completely wrong. But you know, it was like, it's window, it's window. And I was just like, for me, all the kids said windy growing up. You know, so it was just like stupid little things, like just my speech was totally different to a lot of them. So many just different things, like things in school, like you'd be messing in class and someone would rat you out, you're like, don't be ratting me out, that stuff doesn't happen, you know what I mean? But it was crazy, but it was good. It was probably the best thing that ever happened to me, though, was moving out of Finglas, because I look back now and a lot of the friends that I had are either dead or on drugs or maybe locked up or something like that, you know, whereas my life is gone completely in the opposite direction. It's all positive now, so it's probably the best thing that ever happened to me.
You had your first fight age 6, but it wasn't an official fight, it was a fight in school. What happened there?
I just had a little bit of an argument with a little traveller kid, and he just jumped off the bench, but he caught me with a backhand and gave me a big black eye. So I went home and I had a mark in my eye, and my dad was like, what happened to you? So I told him obviously what happened. He was like, oh, you're coming to the gym with me. So he brought me to the gym. I started boxing, and it was never to be a good boxer or anything. It was just so I could defend myself. And then when my uncles found out, they had me out the back doing the bench. I had no even weights on the bench. I was there doing the bench and all. And I remember being stiff for days, but about 2 weeks later then I felt pretty confident in myself. I was like, I'm not letting him get the better of me. So I asked him for a straightener. We went outside after school, had a little fight. And I won then. So it was from that time on, I enjoyed that bit of competition, and
hard work pays off.
Hard work pays off, yeah, even though it was 2 weeks. But I don't know, I just felt a little bit more confident in myself, because when he hit me first, I was shocked, I was stunned. I probably never got hit like that before, you know. And the kid could box, he just went boom, and he was like this, standing in a little boxing stance. So he clearly can box. All the travellers as kids that taught how to box, you know. So yeah, it was just one of them things. After I had it, that adrenaline rush and everything, it was weird. It was so surreal at that young age. It felt crazy, but the achievement of actually beating him and overcoming my fear was better than anything else.
Your dad is a top quality coach in his own right. He just had an elite senior champion, David Joyce, really good guy. And Luke Keeler, who's been a guest of ours on The Fighter here, reckons he's the most maybe underrated or one of the best coaches in the country and deserves a lot of recognition. What did you learn as a kid from your father about fighting?
It's funny enough, because boxing is more my father's dream than it would be my dream. It was pushed on me almost a little bit. It wasn't. That's not correct. It was more so like I got to a certain stage and I was going to the gym with my dad. My dad always boxed. He always done a little bit, but he started too late. So he was in sparring with Jono and stuff like that. And so he loved boxing, but he started too late. So it was always a passion. He'd be one that would be watching on the weekends and he'd know everyone's name and know their record and everything else. So then at like 14, 15, I started going to the gym with him a lot more. And he started teaching me a lot more then. And then all of a sudden I asked him, can I go to the boxing gym? I think I want to start competing. So then I did that, and once I started fighting, it was like I was only training twice a week in Navan Boxing Club, but my dad was training me probably like 4 or maybe 5 times during the week as well. You know, I remember times my dad had me up at like 6 o'clock in the morning before school, running around freezing cold, you know, like I was only like 15 or something.
Yeah.
And he was hard on me, you know what I mean? It was hard growing up. There was times where I felt like I wasn't boxing for me, I was more boxing to keep him happy, because realistically, it's like any kid that gets like well done or a little tap on the back for anything off their parents, they kind of tend to try to do it more, you know, that sort of way. So for me, it was like everyone was all happy and proud of me boxing. So I kind of just felt like I was doing it for them almost for a long time in the amateurs, because I wasn't mad into it in the amateurs. And it actually took me to go to Australia to find that it was actually my passion. It was something that I really enjoyed doing. And I fell back in love with the sport. But back to my father, he's very, very hard on me. And I know he's hard on some of his own boxers. But at the same time, you need serious discipline in this sport, because one thing my dad always said to me was, if you're going to be number 2, if you're not going to be the best boxer out there, I don't want you to box. Because it's not like soccer or whatever you drink on the weekend and you go out, or Gaelic, you're drinking on the weekend with the lads, and then you go out and have your match on Sunday. It's not like if you get tired, you can pass the ball. So if you get tired in the ring, you're getting hurt and you're getting punished. So it's 2 different sports, you know what I mean? So it was always like, if you're not going to be number 1, then don't do it. So he made sure that I was working hard and I got to my full potential while I was training with him, you know?
You had a tragic spell in your life in your mid-teens. Within 11 months, you lost your mum and your uncle as well, who was a big influence in your life. And you found him, isn't that right, on your 16th birthday? Yeah,
my 16th birthday, I was actually meant to, I had to pick up an all-Ireland medal that morning, and for the amateurs, you need to be clean-shaven. So I was with him all the day before, and he was having a few cans and that. And I was like, actually, have you got a razor blade? I need to have a shave for in the morning. And he was like, yeah, grab one there. So I never did anyway. I was like, I'll grab it in the morning, because my thick beard, like if I have a shave like today, 16. It's like I'll still have to have a shave tomorrow, you know what I mean? So I was like, even at 16. Yeah. So I was like, no, I'll grab it in the morning. So yeah, I came in the next morning and I found him dead on the floor. So it was a crazy time in my life. But yeah, it was just one of them things. It actually almost spoiled me into boxing more than ever, because while everyone else was kind of not pitying themselves, but while everyone else was down in the dumps, and I focused on the boxing, because while I was in the ring, I was like, I couldn't focus on anything else outside other than getting punched in the face, you know what I mean? So it gave me a little bit of break away from reality, so to speak.
It followed so quickly on from losing your mother. Do I have the timeline right? It was a year, nearly a year after you lost your mum.
Yeah, my mum passed on May the 12th, and my uncle passed on April the 12th on my birthday. So yeah, 11 months to the day. But it was, yeah, it was crazy. My mum passed in a car crash, and the same thing there. My mum was so proud of me boxing. She was always at my show. She was always the loudest one in the crowd. Like, you could always hear her and be saying typical mum things, you know, like, hit him, Joe, you know, things like that. It was like, oh, cringe. But now I still have those footage. I haven't actually never looked at one yet. I've never looked at any of the DVDs or anything, but I have the little small discs from the camera cord. But sometime after my career, I suppose I'll sit down and I'll watch them. But she was a massive supporter, and she was always so proud of me. So one of my other sisters, then after my mum passed, I was supposed to fight in a little charity fight, and I never done it because obviously mum was supposed to pass in like 2 days before. So our body was in the house and all, like, you know, having the wake and whatnot. And my sister was like, you should have went to that fight, you should have had that fight. I was like, are you for real? I'm hardly gonna have the fight, like everyone's there in the house. And she was like, no, you should have went. She said, mum was, because she worked with me, mum. She was like, mum was telling everybody how proud she was of you. And she was like, I used to be telling her, well, you shut up, no one wants to hear about your kid boxing, you know what I mean? So she was really proud of me boxing. So for that then as well, I just like, I almost wanted to make her proud. And like I was saying before, like if you're getting a tap on the back and your parents are saying well done, and that really drove me towards boxing. And it was like I couldn't do anything else. It was a crazy time in my life. Boxing was the only thing that was giving me a little bit of a break away from reality.
Yeah. Well, after the disappointment of not making the Olympics at a young age, John Evan goes, as we all know, for Ireland in 2008. You find yourself down in Australia and doing the regular jobs that Irish guys do down there, working in KFC, scaffolding.
Yes.
How did you enjoy your time down under?
I loved.
It's where you turned pro as well, of course.
Yeah, it's where I turned pro. I actually loved Australia, and I probably wouldn't have never have came home only for my sister's wedding. Same sister that had that conversation with me. But I missed one sister's wedding, so I said I would never miss another one's, you know. So when she got the news and she was going to get married and that she wanted me to be a part of the wedding, so basically it was 10 grand to get me visa or 5 grand or something like that to come home, and I didn't have the money for both, so I just chose one. But I probably never would have came home if I had stayed over there. Like, I loved Australia, even like leaving it. It was just such an amazing place, you know. I really had enjoyed my time over there. We've done a lot of travelling over there. We stayed in like Aboriginal camps. We slept out in a shed with these hippies like for about 3 months doing my farm work.
Yeah.
You know, it was like such a crazy experience, all wrapped up in 2 years. It was like you never knew what you were going to do from one end of the week to the next. You know, it was a brilliant time in my life. I really enjoyed it.
And while you're in Australia, your girlfriend is with you from Ireland, Gemma. She's with you're together 10 years now, I believe. And
yeah, since we're babies.
Yeah. How did you guys meet?
Crazy. We met in the park. It's actually a very long story, but we met in the park, and I had a girlfriend at the time, and she had a boyfriend at the time. And then it's really weird. So my girlfriend was then found sitting on her boyfriend's lap, right. And I broke up my girlfriend. I was like, you shouldn't be sitting on another man's lap, you know what I mean? Like, so whatever, I broke up my girlfriend. So then she asked him what happened. Oh, how come Jono broke up with his girlfriend? And he was like, oh, nothing. So he clearly didn't want to tell the story either. So eventually she took the number out of my phone. She texted me. So I told her what happened, like the reason I broke up with me, so I just told her. And so we started talking, and then she broke up with him as well. She was always mad about me. She said it from day one. She was like, the day I met you, she was like, I just want to be with you. I knew I had to be with you. So
it's because you were probably spinning a load of yarns about I'll be fighting for world titles one day.
100%, mate, 100%. But I was bragging for I was going to be a professional boxer from day one. And I remember her laughing at me, and my arm was in a sling, and I was saying, "You're not going to be a boxer." And I remember like saying, "No, you'll see in a few years." And I still remind her to this day that all the time. Probably only last week I only said it to her. But anyway, yeah, we met in the park. We were only kids, and from there actually we started texting a little bit, and we were getting on really well. But then my uncle passed, and I just kind of disappeared off the face of the earth for a while. I was just like not texting anyone back. And then my dad actually opened the boxing club in Dunshaughlin, so she came down and started boxing. And I was like, look at this girl in a Columbia jacket and like pair of jeans. Like, she doesn't want to be a boxer, you know what I mean? So because I was the coach in there, and I was doing all the fitness stuff. So she came down, and she was working hard, and she like getting me to do pads with her and everything, and I knew right well what she was there for. Yeah. So it was just one of them. We just clicked, and she loves boxing even to this day. She loves the whole circle of boxing. She has so many friends in the boxing world. Everyone knows her, and she's been there from day one for me. You know, there was times in Australia where I hadn't got a job, and I was focused on the boxing, and she was working 2 jobs to provide for both of us. You know, so. She's been a massive supporter in my whole career. I really put a lot down to her because she dedicated not only like her life to me, but like she followed me to Australia as well. I went a couple of 2 months or 3 months before she did, because she wasn't 18, so she couldn't get a visa, and she followed me over. So like it was just one of them. She just put her whole trust in me, and here we are today, going to top a bill for the world title. So it's all paying off, thank God. You
almost had this life in Australia. Could have been a citizen. Who knows what you'd have been doing down there, but. You get the call and you come home. You have a 2-0 record at this stage. Nobody's seen your fights. I remember following them at the time, but we couldn't see them. And you arrive back to this press conference, and you're fighting Declan Geraghty, who's very highly rated and going all the way to the top. And then this guy comes in, and no one's really seen you or heard from you. And you created a bit of an impression. Was it the aim to come back to Ireland and tell a few people who you were and what you were going to do?
No, because I just came home for the sister's wedding. That's all I came home for. And then since I was home, my dad was like, do you want to go down to Pascal's? He has Stephen Ormond there, great sparring partner for you and all. Because my dad used to always say about me training in Australia, he was like, you were playing boxing in Australia, you weren't taking that serious. Like, they're not great over there and blah, blah, blah. They're not a really strong boxing community. which they're starting to prove that a little bit wrong now because they're really coming on strong the past few years. But at the time, it wasn't amazing, you know. So, and he didn't really know of it. But anyway, yeah, it was like he brought me down to spar Stephen Ormond, and it was horrible. I'd done 2 rounds and I was absolutely exhausted. I ended up doing 4 rounds with him, but like the 3rd round I was tired, and the 4th round Pascal was just pushing me to see what I was actually capable of, and if I had the heart, I just gritted my teeth and just went to war with Stephen. And Stephen, at this time, was European champion. He was really fit. He was fighting Terry Flanagan not too much longer after that, so he was really fit and strong. But it tested me, you know. And then it was like I just kept going back. I remember I went back the next day and I had a big headache and all. No doubt that was a concussion. Yeah. And I had a headache, and Pascal like, "Do you want to get in and spar again?" I was like, "Yeah, of course." And I didn't want to spar again. You know what I mean? I was like, "Yeah, of course." And he was like, "Nah, I was just seeing what your reaction would be. You know, you're grand." He was like, "We'll spar Wednesday or whatever." I was like, "Alright, sound." So I went back Wednesday, then sparred again. Yeah. I was sparring. I was there for about 2 weeks, and then I only got the call for the Declan Garrity fight, and it was a no-brainer. Like, I was basically a nobody. I had nothing to lose. 2-0, but like that was in Australia. I had 2 fights in 2 years, and before that, I broke my hand to go before the Olympics, and that I broke my hand to even qualify. So I was out of the ring for almost 2 years with a broken hand, and then just kind of fell back into the sport in Australia. So yeah, it was one of them. It was it just all kind of happened. You know what I mean? All fell into place.
Within 2 months of beating Declan Garrity, you're over in England winning prize fighter.
Yeah.
3 brilliant performances on the night. And you told me before that you spent your winnings on doing up a cottage for your family. And
correct, yeah.
Somewhere to live. So you've been investing your money and playing the long game from a very early age, or from the start, really, haven't you?
Yeah, definitely. Well, coming back from Australia, I said I was going to do up that cottage. It was my family home, you know, so I always said I was going to do up that cottage because I was doing a bit of painting and decorating over there as well, so I thought it was going to be a lot easier job than it ended up turning out to be. But yeah, what I done, I ended up putting like 25 grand into that property or something, and it was the best investment I ever done, you know. Like, if I had got a new car, the car would have been sold, it would have been gone. Like, I'm living in Spain now, whereas that property's always there, you know, that kind of way. So it was, for me, materialistic things doesn't really, I'm not in it for all that sort of stuff, you know. I just basically want to secure my family, like buy a few properties, rent a few properties and stuff, and make smart investments, and basically just be financially free, so I don't have to work a day in my life again, and just travel the world. I just want to get a camper van and just travel the world.
At this stage now, you've got a 16-win record with 1 draw. After winning prize fighter, you have a couple of promotional back and forths with Eddie Hearn. You end up leaving that, you fight on a few Box Nation shows, you sign with MTK, become a big crowd pleaser then up in Belfast. I think you stole the show on the Jamie Conlon world title fight, rematched Declan Garrity and beat him well, stopped him on another high profile card. And at that stage, a world title is around the corner. Do you feel confident at this stage that you're going to be world champion because of the progress you've made, or because of the belief you've always had?
Because of the belief I always had, you know, I never ever doubted myself going into anything, even the prize fighter. Like, I was 14-1 underdog to win prize fighter, and anyone who was asking me was saying, "Put your money on that, lump that, that's great odds, like, put your money on that." Same thing with even the last fight I had with Declan Garrity. Some fella texted me, he was like, "Well, I'm gonna put like, I think it was 6 grand on it. Should I put it on?" I was like, "Don't." Yeah, well, I can't say the word, but I said, "Don't be a beep." I was like, "Put the 6 grand on it and put it on for a knockout." And he was like, "Oh, but you haven't knocked many people out." I was like, "It doesn't matter, mate." I was like, "Trust me, my mindset going to this fight, all I've visualised is a knockout." I was like, "So just put it on for the knockout, and if you win, you can thank me later." And I'll tell you, he was over the moon when he won.
Yeah.
But everything that I ever said I was going to do, like, if you look back on all my interviews from day one, I always said I was going to be here. So I'm not surprised that I'm in this position, you know what I mean? It's like law of attraction. You have to kind of speak it and put it out there, and it comes back to you. The universe is a funny place. It always finds a way to bring it back to you, but you need to truly believe in yourself in the first place. And if you don't believe it, but you're speaking it, like, it's not going to happen for you. You need to believe it, speak it, and it will come back to you 100%.
Well, I look back over one of your old interviews I interviewed you when you were 2-0, I think you said. I came out of the room talking, and you also said, "I want to be an old school fighter, retire with 100 fights behind me."
Yeah.
But so you see, you're being lined up to fight Billy Dibb. You're climbing the IBF rankings, and then Tevin Farmer goes and he beats him and takes the world title. And did you watch the fight? What was your impressions of the top of the the top of the super featherweight division?
I did watch the fight, but like I knew Billy Dib from Australia myself, you know. I know a lot of the lads out there because it's kind of anyone who's really good over there, they all know each other, you know. So his trainer, Billy Hussein, was actually trying to get me to go over, I think to spar him or to spar Luke Jackson for one of the camps. I was away, I was on holidays at the time, but so I could never do it. But I've always kind of kept an eye on the Australian boxing, you know. And I just felt like Billy Dib was just at hitting that age where he was just a little bit past it, you know. So it was an easy enough night for Tevin Farmer. I think Billy Dib was good in the way he got in on him, but he didn't have the engine to keep working while he was in there. He closed the distance pretty well, but he wasn't able to like actually work when he was in there. I think it was just times that catching up on him, and he was in a few hard fights in his day as well. So I just think he didn't have a great night.
So this Philly style that you're coming up against, what do you make of it? You've done the press conference in Philadelphia. They speak about it all the time. They say Tevin Farmer is the perfect proponent of it. And you said, I'll love Philly forever because it's where I'm going to win my first world title. And it's obviously a famous boxing town. Are you looking forward to going over there and getting into the ring?
Of course. Like, that's where Rocky Balboa was made and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, and I just want to, the next day after winning that title, I just want to go up to them steps, run up them steps. Probably not run, probably walk because I'll be in bits. And then just
your girlfriend will walk
hold, yeah, she can hold the belt walking up. But I just want to take a picture on the top of them steps with that belt. As a kid, like I used to always love all the Rockies and stuff like that, you know. So I used to go down, I had a punch bag in my room. I used to be just like messing, hitting the punch bag. I was only a baby, you know. So for the fact that I'm, like one of my dreams and goals has always been fighting a top-notch American who has defended a belt in America. So this is just the same as what I was saying about the law of attraction. I spoke this, so this was going to happen for me regardless. It's a funny thing, but it's like I knew I was going to fight in America. I'm going to make a statement now in America, and then it happens to fall on Paddy's weekend, which is even better again for me, you know. But I never really wanted to win a world title off, like, let's just for example say an English fighter or anything, because I feel like you kind of need to go to America to make it, you know, that sort of way. Like you need to to be on that big stage and get that big platform. That I think you need to be in America. So I've never even went to America other than the last time for the press conference. I've never even been there on a holiday.
Right.
So I always said I want to go over and fight over there the first time, and here we are. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you've good reason to be confident. You've never been hurt in your career, rocked, and you've 2 stoppages in your last 3 fights. Your last fight, you had a draw coming into this fight. Did you overlook Frenois, do you think? Because you knew that this fight against Farmer was likely to be made down the line.
Yeah, correct. No, do you know what? I didn't really overlook him. I didn't have a great training camp. I had a few little niggles in training camp. I actually had Davey Oliver, my dad's fighter. I had him over. So I was sparring an amateur. Even though he's an amazing amateur, he's an amateur. I was sparring him. I was sparring Tom Stalker, who was now retired for the past year, and I was sparring another amateur in there. So I wasn't taking it too serious. Even though I had to trade them all mixing about, they were only doing 2 rounds and that each, jumping in and out. But I was like, I don't know, I just felt like I was going to hurt. I just felt I was going to hurt Frenois or whatever his name is. I just thought I was just going to take him out. And going into that, my mindset wasn't right. Like I said, I had a few little things kind of going on, but I'm not one to make up excuses. So if I lose a fight, you're never going to say, here, oh, because I have this sore elbow or I have this knee or whatever. I just hate that, you know what I mean? So for me, it's like if I lose a fight and I get beat on the day, you beat me because you were a better man. So I'll accept that. And I take full responsibility for getting that draw, because if I had just stuck to my game plan, I would just box the ears off him all night. But what happened was, I hit him, well, first of all, I made the weight a little bit wrong. I was a little bit heavy going in, so there, my engine wasn't great. It wasn't the way it normally is. Also, I caught him with a backhand in like the 3rd or 4th round, and I just rocked him. And from there on out, instead of sticking to the game plan and continuing to box, I started like throwing a few haymakers and just thought I can hurt him any time. So I stopped sticking to the game plan and what I was getting told in the corner. I was trying to take him out, and then I drained myself of energy because I was throwing big bombs. You know, it was silly on my behalf, but at the same time, I think life is has a funny way of showing you. It was just like a little bee sting. It was a little wake-up call, you know. And I think it happened at the perfect moment, because now it's like I'm not overlooking Farmer. I know loads of little things that I was doing wrong, so I can improve on myself. And every day you have a chance to improve on yourself. It's a good day, you know. So I just find that it happened at the perfect moment in my career, and now no one cares about a draw when you have to win the world title in your next fight. So that's all that matters to me, is winning my world title, you know.
All right, against the guy that you don't like, but you leave that in the ring, I'm sure.
But the thing is, I don't like anyone I fight. It's not the fact that I don't like him. It's simply like he has what I want. You know what I mean? So I have to smash him up to take that belt. Like, he's topping the bill. If this is any way close fight, he's getting a fight. He'll always give it a champion. Plus, he's in his backyard. I have to smash him up and hurt him. So for me, I have to get myself into that mind frame, as in, like, just do everything in your power to destroy this man. You know what I mean? When I'm in there, it's a total different ball game. I have to obviously be calm and relaxed doing it. But he has what basically is going to set my family up for my future and our future. So it's not that I don't like him, it's just that he has what I want.
Yeah.
And I want to take it, you know?
Well, let's see if you do, and best wishes in your
I
fight.
will.
Jono Carroll, thanks a million for joining us tonight on The Fighter.
My pleasure.
My pleasure as well. Cheers.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us on The Fighter tonight. See you again next time.